Hi, I'm Christopher, and yo, this spirit is a cunt.
And I'm Reed, and he'll split ya! 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 He'll split ya!
And this is Dirty Little Horror.
First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and you build a following. It takes a long fucking time, and I've been working on it for a while.
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you. What have you done to him, you maniac?
Don't you ever raise your voice at me. I am your mother.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
What's blood for? If not for shedding.
Look what you did to him. Listen, asshole.
Halloween, Texas Chainsaw, Dawn of the Dead, The Hills Have Eyes, Amityville Horror, Last House on the Left, Friday the 13th, and A Nightmare on Elm Street, My Bloody Valentine, When a Stranger Calls, Prom Night, Black Christmas, House of Wax, The Fog, Piranha. It's one of those, right? Right?
That didn't deserve that much laughter, but I'll take it. Thank you.
No, you get a bit of extra laughter whenever I'm taken by surprise.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I always assume that's just because you're having to make sense of the muddled words that came out of my useless face hole.
That's only half the time, Reed. Come on, give yourself some credit.
Oh, thanks.
I've got to
bitch.
See, I've got to pass the mangled nonsense that comes out of your mouth, the mean nonsense that comes out of Charles's mouth, and the emotional nonsense that comes out of my mouth. So I'm used to having to disassemble and reassemble meaning and context in speech.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense. And you're doing such a good job. And you know what we call that? Masking.
Oh dear, I did put up my July Instagram post. You know, everyone's doing it, so I just thought I'd do it. You put up 10 photos that were taken throughout the month and go, this was my July. And my caption was like, this has been a really, really hard month for me, and it has. And the number of people who've messaged me going like, oh, I'm so sorry, I had no idea you were having a hard month. I'm like, that's because I've been hiding it. And then all the stuff that you would normally see in little bits and pieces of, I have saved up and then just like one of those images of a dam release valve, that giant torrent of water. I've just been doing that all that like 2 or 3 people instead of spreading it out amongst you fine people.
Yeah, I was imagining like a chest burster, but yeah, I can also see, or like a fire hydrant that's been opened up for children to play in.
Yeah, that kind of thing. That's just Jenny.
Do you have any questions that you would like to ask me since you're helping out here on the podcast? Do you need me to hold your hand and show you how to do it? I don't know.
No, do you feel like my hand needs holding? Bear in mind, the last time we recorded an episode of this, of horror, because Charles was in hospital, I was recording in a pantry, which was doubling as my bedroom.
That's right. You were literally sideways. You were at a Dutch angle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm in North America now. Yeah, I live here again now.
Yeah, he's no longer talking to us from a different point in time.
Yep.
Like that Jim Caviezel movie, where he was talking to his dad over the radio.
Oh, no, different one.
Yeah, Passion of the Christ, obviously. Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah. He was talking to God over the radio, doing time travel stuff and buying Yahoo stock.
I am here in New York. Hi, everybody.
I was very excited. I wish that they had taken a picture of when you threw your hat up into the air and it froze. And we saying you're going to make it after all. Although I think I might be getting That Girl and the Mary Tyler Moore Show mixed.
Which and not to make it worse, but I was just about to be like, give us any chance, we'll take it. That's Laverne and Shirley. So I'm only making it worse. And they weren't even in New York. So what the fuck?
They really weren't. They were... Did they even name the city? Oh, Milwaukee. That was sorry. That's Haas and Pfeffer Incorporated.
Until the very last season, then they went to LA. Can you imagine if I had moved all the way over here, went through all that effort, and then was like, I'm going to live in Milwaukee? Nobody would talk to me.
You would deserve what happened to you, which is, I would be like, Milwaukee is like I wanted to say it's the Australia of the United States, but the United States has several Australias. because it has terrible animals and horrible, horrible people with the worst accents imaginable.
You can jam it sideways, motherfucker. With that trash talk, wow. What state are you from again?
I'm from Florida, so I can talk shit about. I can talk shit about the lesser Australia.
It's
or the more Australia, depending on what you're trying to do.
All right. Before I get really insulted, how did you die this week, Reed?
I simply just had way too much meat inside of me.
Is there an explanation?
Yes. So I was telling my boyfriend that I would like to try cooking more, and I was like, I used to have an Instapot, and I would make pot roast and stuff, and I had like one of these little tiny mini Instapots for like one person, and somehow it didn't make it in the move. And so he was like, we'll get you a new one. And so he gets like the biggest one possible. This thing is like a truck engine. It is gigantic. And so he gets in his head. I'm like, I'll use this recipe that I found for like a little cute whiskey pot roast. It's like a little 3-pound pot roast. So he's like, no, we'll do 10 pounds.
This will track so far.
Yeah, literally the grocery store didn't have a 10-pound pot roast. They just gave us like 6 3-pound pot roasts or 3.5-pound pot roasts or whatever. Jammed all of them in there. I literally didn't even have enough whiskey to like triple and a half the recipe for everything.
This Voltron of pot roast that you'd made.
Yeah, but it did come out really good.
Okay, great.
But it made the meat didn't shrink as much as one might think. So it is so much. And I made this on Saturday. We're still eating it. And I gave a third of it to our neighbor because she has like a family of 3. And I was like, dear God, please, this will go bad before we finish it. Doug then made taquitos out of them. I've made, we're like putting together like ideas for soups. We're putting on everything. Everything gets pot roast on it now. You get cereal, you have pot roast. You get a set of pot roast. I had a bagel. I was close to like just putting a little plop of pot roast on the side. There was so much meat in that gigantic Instapot. I barely had room for any vegetables. So I was able to put like 5 carrots in there, like baby carrots, and like 2 potatoes. So it is so much meat.
Wow.
Just so much meat.
I assumed there was some hyperbole in that, and then you gave me the dimensions. And no, that's not hyperbole. That is a lot of meat.
Human child's worth of meat.
So if you can do those same dimensions to do me some corned beef so I can just die happy on Rubens, that'd be great.
I mean, there's the space. It has the capacity.
Mm-hmm. Sounds amazing.
Yeah. I'm just imagining, you can do cheesecake in an Instapot. Just imagine a 10-pound cheesecake.
And also, just clarify, so you can still get the Instapot? I thought they'd gone bust.
We got it through Best Buy. So it was whatever stock they already had.
Oh, okay. So when the time comes for me to rebuild a kitchen, I would definitely like one. I just know that I'm unlikely to get one because they don't make them anymore.
Yeah, but they're all over the place, and you're going to be able to get one like secondhand, and a lot of them are really like, it's a good machine, so they last a pretty decent amount of time. It was just like, capitalism is like number must always go up, and it's like, no, this is not a like thing you buy every year.
No.
You don't just keep buying Instapots. They're not Kleenex.
Yeah.
And it was just, choices.
Yeah.
Choices.
It always makes me wonder how long, like, Thermomix has left in it as a shelf life, because that's a $2,000 blender that cooks things and dries tea towels, apparently. I don't know.
It's an air fryer, and it also makes trillion fries and hair.
But that's not a thing you can update every year.
Yeah, it's not a Subaru. You can't just trade it in every year.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if I reckon if it's only a set of wheels away from being a Subaru, but yes, you're right. It's not.
I mean, I'll show you this Instapot the next time you come over. It literally is very close to it looks like an engine block.
I'm very excited about this.
But yeah, 10 pounds of beef.
for our metric listeners, that is about 5 kilos of beef. An entire baby worth of beef.
Yeah, seriously, bones and all.
All right, I think once we start discussing the logistics of how much flesh a baby has in its person, we've veered too far from the path.
Okay, well, speaking of infant butchery, how did you die this week?
Oh, okay. I'll tell you how I died. I'll tell you how the fuck I died.
Oh, hold on. I've got my drink. I'm ready.
I don't have a whimsical, catchy header for this, like too much meat, just because it's only happened very recently. But so on a whim, 24 hours ago, I made a TikTok being like, this video is for, it's an author who's been one of my favorite authors since I was 14 years old. This is for Michael Marshall Smith. You don't have an audiobook version of, and I held out like this book, which I've carried around with me since I first found it in the bin of a bookstore at random at the age of 15. It's one of my favorite books. I've carried it with me from hemisphere to hemisphere. Like, I've moved internationally 3 times. It's come with me every single time. On this move, it's the only book I brought with me because it's hard to move books overseas. I'm just paraphrasing my actual TikTok now. But I was like, you don't have an audiobook version, and I would like to do one. How do I do that? And then I was like, lol, post on TikTok. Because there are people who have just done dumb shit on TikTok and then become major successes because of it. Someone started hula hooping for their own enjoyment and fitness, and now they're like an international business mogul at hula hoops. And, people reach out to say like, I love Drew Barrymore. And then Drew Barrymore, who's on TikTok, sees it and is like, I love you too. And like, so I was just being purely pie in the sky, lol. This is for one of my favorite authors. He saw it. A friend sent it to him, and then he DM'd me on Twitter saying, I just saw your TikTok. I'm really honored that you've carried that book with you for so long. Here's my email address. Please email me. So today I emailed one of my favorite authors. I am 42. I have loved this author since I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
I have his email address, and I emailed him, and he emailed me back 27 minutes ago, and I can't read it until after we're done recording because I don't want to get distracted. That is how I died.
Oh, all of your molecules just fell apart and exploded? like it was full, like you ascended, you turned into energy, like...
Yes.
Yeah, oh, got it.
Yes.
Wow.
In a good way, like turning the switch off in one of those wacky inflatable flailing arm tube men. I just went like, ah!
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah, you collapse like the mummy made of sand when you saw a cat.
Yes. As Eddie Izzard said in one of her specials, I think it was Dressed to Kill, slowly collapsed like a flan in a cupboard. That is what I've done.
Perfect.
But in like the best way, in the best possible way. Like I said just before, I've had a bad July. I've had a bad 8 months or so. I've had a shit of a run of things. This is one of the most exciting things that's ever happened in my life, not just this year. It is wild. And, as I said in my email to him, there could be any number of actual reasons why there are no audiobooks of his work yet. He might be principally opposed to the very concept of it. I don't know. So this might not be an opening a dialogue in which I get to record the audiobook version of my favorite book, but I have certainly made a pitch to do so.
As you said.
I sold it hard. We'll see.
Did you explain to him that it's purely for accessibility to those of us who have difficulty reading text?
No, none whatsoever. No, I did not do that. I've been driven purely by hobby, ego, and desire to find another creative outlet. And every time, because the first TikTok I did ended up cracking 100,000 views. Like it went a little bit. It did some numbers. And every time someone commented being like, oh, I'm visually impaired, I have reading comprehension difficulty, I do better with audiobooks, I'm really invested in this, my stupid egomaniacal brain was like, that's also a good reason. Like, I'm not an asshole, but,
helping others. Yeah.
Yes, that is also, yes. Mm-hmm. Also
Isn't it great how my wonderful idea is also helping others? Look at all the good I do.
It's not so much altruism as also truism.
I love that.
Thank you.
We're keeping that, right? Well, do you know who didn't die this week?
Who didn't?
Well, it is Corey C. They are a survivor. Look at them. They're a survivor. They've been with us since March 1st, 2020.
That's a long time.
I apologize to anybody if I'm doing this wrong. Charles usually does this, and I have the memory of a goldfish that has been trepanned, and there's no memory of who the last person we said was. So I'm hoping that I haven't repeated Corey multiple times now, on multiple episodes. But Corey, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. And if you would like to support us, you can go to patreon.com/dirtylittlehorror and sign up for as little as $5 a month. And, you've got $5.
Hardly anything at all.
Barely. And in this economy?
I would suggest that the phrase "in this economy" doesn't work in our favor, but we can try. Sign up to our Patreon in this economy. Wait, I'm doing it wrong.
Oh no. But yes, thank you so much, Corey. We appreciate you.
We do, very much so.
All right. It's very important that we explain to all of you that we have seen Barbie, and we are not the same people that we were before we saw Barbie.
No, we are not. For me, it's not just the movie in and of itself. It's the fact that it's Margot Robbie, and this is there's a hint of borderline patriotism kicking in. That is a through thread in this whole episode. That Margot Robbie was born. She's from my state, which is the Florida of Australia.
Oh no!
She was born in my state in a town shittier than the one I was born in. In fact, she was born in the second worst place I've ever been in Queensland. It is a fuckhole of a place. I hate it. And she was born there, and she turned into this beacon, this radiant, fucking flawless vision of a person.
She's everything.
Despite the fact that she was born in fucking Dolby. Jesus. Amazing. My favorite bit of trivia about her, I learned from her herself, when she got cast in Neighbours, which is already it's an Australian soap. She was Australian, cast in an Australian soap, but her Queensland accent was so thick that she had to get elocution, accent training, so she could be in the soap opera and not sound like she was just a person out from the bush. Yeah, what? Yeah, hi, I'm Margot Robbie. So she had to get speech training for her own accent.
Oh, I love that. That's incredible.
Which is probably why she's so amazing at accents now.
Yeah, I mean, if there was, and there should be, but if there was an award for best use of a Brooklyn accent, I think she should get it for multiple films, because she's done it in multiple ways.
2 hours later.
Now that we've looped back to our Margot Robbie worship, let's pivot into the movie, because I can continue the thread of me being weirdly proud of my country, despite the fact that I recently left it, which seems a little ironic.
That's a much better segue than most of the ones I do.
Oh, well, thanks. Yes, this week we are doing a movie that actually came out in 2022 at the Adelaide Film Festival, but only got its a proper commercial release literally this last week. It is an Australian, I'm so proud, an Australian horror film called Talk to Me.
You're doing it again tonight? No, please. I just miss my mum.
Cannot go for more than 90 seconds.
What happens after 90 seconds?
They'll want to stay.
Talk to me.
Sweetheart.
I miss shit.
What if we opened the door but you didn't shut it?
The spirits, they followed us.
Talk to me.
I've already given away that I'm very happy with this movie. I loved it. I have two major bones to pick with it. Apart from that, I'm so excited because, we've made some good horror, but we've also made some really bad horror. And there is still, to this day, no matter how much good content we put out, I'm still riding the high of both Class of 07 and most recently Deadlock. But there is still a big cringe factor when an Australian production comes out, because is it going to be shitty? Is it going to be embarrassing? And this movie is so fucking good. Oh, I'm so happy.
This movie, first off, I would have to start off with this movie is 90 minutes. And I would just like to bask in the beauty of that. And it does so much with that 90 minutes that it makes me want to rub other directors' noses in it and say, see, you can have tension without having to have us stare at somebody's face for 20 minutes.
They jammed so much into 90 minutes, including some really slow moments, that at least 2 different points, I was sitting there being like, okay, Reed's wrong. There's no way this is 90 minutes. He's misread it. This is not 90 minutes, because we must be cracking at least 2 hours by now, because it was a not slow start. It was a not breakneck speed start. And there were some moments of contemplation throughout the movie. And I was like, there's no way this is 90 minutes. Bloody was.
This film has a restraint to it where it does jump scares, but it doesn't do them the way we would do them, where we're like, in the same way that we do, our candy is always too much. It's just, could we have just something besides sugar?
And look, James Wan is an Australian director, the man behind most of the Conjuring, at least the main Conjuring universe films. And when he does it, it's mostly done well, which is, a jump scare, a shocking sight accompanied by a sting of music. When the movies in the Conjuring universe are done without him at the helm, they're so much worse, because it's that thing that I think has been talked about in this podcast, both with me and without me, where the lead up to a jump scare has a dip in volume, so you can definitely tell it's coming. And rather than being scared, you are in fact hurt if you're in the cinema, because it blows your eardrums out.
Yeah. I think if there's, especially with Conjuring, there's like a recipe book, but in each recipe it says season to taste. And James Wan's taste is very different than the other directors' tastes.
Correct. And
so he'll be like, yeah, let's throw in some nice little spices stuff. And we're like, so I just dump all the salt in?
You dump it all in, yeah. And you saw my reaction to the trailer for The Nun too. That recipe, I fucking love that recipe. But what Talk to Me does with jump scares, not every single time, but I noted there were 2 different times where there was the camera switched to a shocking visual with no noise.
Which I would...
There was just your eyes reacting to the horrible sight, going, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I really much appreciate it, to the point where I actually missed one of them. When she first touches the hand and sees the first ghost, I missed it because I was looking down trying to write down a quote, because I was like, I'll hear the stinger and then I'll look up.
Yeah.
I missed the first ghost because there was not a sound cue.
Amazing.
And I was like, wait, why is everyone freaked out?
Yep.
I can hear, so I was like, oh my God, have I gone deaf? Is it done? Is that it for me? Have I seen too many of these now? It finally happened. But no, I love that, because being surprised, it's like your little brother just coming around a corner and going boo, and then being really proud of themselves. And I'm like, whereas this movie was able to build tension, this movie sort of was like dragging you to the, hey, you want to come see the scary thing? We're like, no, thank you. I would prefer not to. I'm like, you're coming.
Yeah.
And then it was like, hey, look, the scary thing. We're like, oh, man.
And sometimes here's a scary thing just subtly in the background. Not to freak you out, just that it's there. There it is.
Yeah, and I think that's one of my favorites is, instead of someone closes a mirror and there's a ghost behind you, my favorite is somebody's in the room and you slowly notice that there's been a ghost in the corner of this entire scene.
I invoke this every single time we talk about these kind of scares. The first time I ever saw that was in The Strangers, and that image will never leave my mind. I fucking love it. I love it so much. The other thing, I think we can go into the read soon. The other thing I loved about this movie is that it's an Australian horror film. The movie itself, in its dialogue and some of its phrasing, is very Australian. The Invisible Man, the Elizabeth Moss movie, also technically an Australian film. Australian director, Australian writer, filmed in Australia. The only thing that's American about it was the cast. Yeah, it was edited, produced, all entirely in Australia, almost to the point I think it counts as, because I went to a premiere or a special screening, it almost counts as an independent film.
Fascinating, because it always had that Universal Monsters made on a backlot. Like, it was in that, so I just assumed it was, same thing.
Film because of Lee Winnell as the writer and director, but also where it was made and where it was edited and cut together, blah, blah, blah. It's an Australian film. And that happens a lot. Babe was the same. Happy Feet's the same. These movies that don't seem intrinsically Australian but are Australian films. But talk to me in the dialogue to the point where in the cinema we were at, and I'm a little bit offended, there were subtitles.
I kind of love that. If I could get more movies where we got the subtitle cut, I was very here for it.
There were some phrasings, very Australianisms in there that I was like, yeah, okay. You two other side of me definitely needed the subtitles for that. But I was a little like, they did this in The Amazing Race as well. The American version of The Amazing Race, when they went to Australia, they gave all the Australian subtitles. And I was like, you know what? You can calm the fuck down. I
think, in all fairness, I think the time slot I got was the closed caption time slot. Okay. So it was the accessible time slot for people who are hard of hearing. But that is kind of funny. Because it was. Oh,
in that case, that's fine. Okay, that's great.
It was closed caption for the whole movie.
It was. No, you're right. There was noises described as well. Okay, that makes me feel better. It's just at the first opening lines when the dialogue was on screen, I was like, what?
No, I think what it was because the time slot. And here's the other problem that it is showing in like 2 theaters in Manhattan because they made the Galaxy Brain decision to premiere when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's doing really well with horror people because like everybody's talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's this like horror oeuvre because it's a very different like genre. But guys, you were never going to make money. You literally need to be right before Barbie or months after Barbie.
No, but this is the thing about a movie made in Australia. The budget for the whole movie was $4.5 million. So now's the.
So it's in American dollars, that's like $8.
Yes, it's already made 11 million back. So it's already on its way to triple its, what it cost.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are 2 things at play here. One, when you're a tiny film that premiered at not even the Melbourne International Film Festival, the Adelaide Film Festival. When you're a movie that small, and they say, and A24 is like, we can give you international distribution.
Mm-hmm.
The caveat is the deal with the devil is we need movies to be in the cinema at the same time as Barbie and Oppenheimer, and obviously none of the big movies want to do that. All the bigger budget movies are going to push themselves back into August and September. But we have to fill the other theaters with something. It's going to be you. You're the sacrificial lamb in this instance.
Mm-hmm.
But they are such a tiny movie, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
anything they make is gravy at this point. And it's a horror movie, so all it needs is critical acclaim.
Mm-hmm.
And to make back its very, very modest budget.
Yeah.
And it's doing that. It's gonna
it had a very, very small marketing budget,
mm-hmm.
but in a weird way, I will give it that it is so not Barbie and so not Oppenheimer that it's
mm-hmm.
kind of in a way that helps you notice it.
Yep.
It's like it contrasts against the pink.
Yeah. Yes. And if there's one thing that has A24's fingerprints all over it, it's the trailer. The trailer is delicious.
It's very good. And honestly, I think it's very like I didn't feel like I got a different movie, but I also didn't feel like I was told the whole movie. Like correct. I didn't feel like the movie was spoiled, and I don't feel like I was tricked.
Yeah. But I didn't realize how Australian the movie is from the trailer. I obviously picked their accents, but the movie opens with some almost shirtless lad with long hair looking for his brother called Duckett, and every third word is fucking where's Duckett? He's got my ciggies, like whatever the fuck it was. I was like, this movie's quite
Australian. Most Australian. Would you like to read a read? Oh yeah, let's get started. let's see here. So first, Joel, the trigger warnings, besides the basics of like blood, scary stuff, jump scares, I would say the biggest ones would be the imagery of self-harm and suicide.
Mm-hmm.
We literally see someone hurt themselves and someone kill themselves. So, and animal death.
Yes, this is
the
one
wrong
of
kind of animal puppet.
One of my two gripes against this movie, and it is a thing that's been talked about in this show a lot. It is one of the cardinal rules of Dirty Little Horror, and it was broken. I will admit that this movie is not perfect for this reason. We'll get to it.
So also, we are going to be spoiling this film for you. Here we go. A young man named Cole stumbles through a crowded house party as he attempts to locate his brother, Duckett, who is injured. While Cole is escorting him out, Duckett stabs Cole before fatally stabbing himself. Next, we see 17-year-old Mia, who is struggling with the second anniversary of her mother, Rhea's suicide, and her emotionally distant relationship with her father, Max. She finds solace in her best friend Jade's family, consisting of Jade's mother and her little brother, Riley. Mia, Jade, and Riley sneak out to a party hosted by Haley and Joss. The main attraction is a mysterious severed and embalmed hand, which is used to conjure spirits by lighting a candle and saying, "Talk to me," which allows them to meet a spirit. Next, they say, "I let you in," for a full possession. The candle is blown out after 90 seconds to close the door, otherwise the spirits may stay. Mia goes first and is possessed by a spirit that threatens Riley. The spirit resists the group when they try to blow out the candle and remove the hand. They eventually succeed, though not until after the 90-second deadline. And I think that's a good first little chunk for us.
Yes. So we got the intro, the prelude, the intro, and the setup to what this movie is about.
Mm-hmm. And I will say another theme that really this doesn't cover as much is and they do a good job with it, but the whole everybody's filming. So this party, people are on their phones filming stuff, and then when stuff goes down and Cole's brother Duckett has like a mental breakdown, everyone's filming, and he's like, stop it. And then he turns around and his brother stabs him. And then he stabs himself. And it goes from, oh, isn't it cool to like film this crazy shit for TikTok? It's like they think they're filming a Karen breakdown, and then they literally film a murder.
Yeah.
Or an assault and a self-harm.
Yeah.
And then we go to this party where, again, everyone's filming what happened. And it's very interesting because it's completely believable, I think, nowadays for us to, in the same way that we've had movies before about pandemics and everybody's like, nobody would act like that. And we're like, now we know they would.
Yeah.
If we were to film hauntings that you could really prove, most likely people still wouldn't believe it that don't want to believe it. Especially 100%. If it's all teenagers doing it and everybody's like, it's deep fake, it's some Snapchat filter,
Yeah. Jade literally says that she's convinced that Haley and Joss are convincing everyone who participates to fake it.
Mm-hmm. And it's not until things really get bad in person that we start seeing how real it is. It's very much a story, it seems, about being a teenager and not really knowing what you're getting yourself into while trying to navigate that awkward place between being a child who can believe in things, being an adult who doesn't want to believe in anything, and navigating the adults in your life that are dealing with their own shit and sometimes forget that they need to help you too.
Yes.
Because like Mia's father is incredibly distant. We literally don't see his face until the third act, I think.
No, he's in blur in the background.
And then Jade's mom is one of those kind of weirdly, I don't know, she's like kind of a very normal mom, but she also doesn't like think the best or has the her first reaction is not to think highly of her kids and to assume that they're doing something wrong.
So every time I've said so far that this movie is very Australian, Sue is the epitome of this. First of all, we have already raved once about an Australian actress in this episode, being Margot Robbie. But Miranda Otto in this role, heaven. Absolute heaven.
I had no idea that she was Australian.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is there's a lot of really good Australian actors that if they can do an American accent really well, they've got it.
Yeah. And well, I see her do Britishy accents because she was last thing I saw of him was one of the aunts in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
But she was doing like a mid-Atlantic accent.
She was. That's right. You're absolutely correct. No,
she had American diction. Thank you.
She. Have you seen Strictly Ballroom? Have I made you watch that?
No, you haven't.
Okay, so the dad in Strictly Ballroom is Miranda Otto's father. So there's kind of an acting family.
Okay.
But Miranda Otto in this, so the idea that she is a mother who is constantly suspicious of her children, even when they assure her that they're not doing anything wrong. And the scene where she just keeps asking every child, when's the party starting? There is no party, Mum. It's okay. No, Jade told me. I know there's a party. There's no party. I know what you're talking about. Okay. So when the party happens, don't break anything, whatever she says. Mm-hmm. Very Australian. Her mannerisms. She clearly loves her son very much, but one of the first lines to Riley is, "Riley, get your shit off the table."
Yeah. I am incredibly mad at myself as a elder millennial for forgetting, because I think that Zelda, she was Zelda in she was Zelda, yes. Wasn't she? Her Zelda is so good as a character that it made me completely forget that she was in fucking Lord of the Rings.
Eowyn.
She kills the Witch King. I am so angry with myself because I was the perfect age for Lord of the Rings, so I am that Lord of the Rings millennial. You know, all the extended editions. She's one of 2 women in the entire movie. How did I forget her?
I didn't even mention her because I thought it would Eowyn, because I thought it would be trite to bother, because of course. But no, you.
No, how did I forget that? I do not know. I literally was looking up because I was trying to look up her father, and then I was like, because I've always had this like, oh, her face is so familiar, and then I'm just like, oh my god, it's fucking Eowyn, you fucking idiot.
Okay, so let's discuss Miranda Otto's adaptability. Lord of the Rings, Aunt Zelda, mm-hmm. a regular country Australian mum who says, "Riley, get your shit off the table." She was also one of the 4 main characters in the Darren Star production, the rival to Sex and the City, Cashmere Mafia.
Well, I've never heard that one.
You have not? Mm-hmm. Lucy Liu?
No.
Miranda Otto? Frances O'Connor, also Australian?
This sounds incredible. How I did not know about this.
Yeah, it came out at the same time. So there were 4 women living in New York City, being fabulous and having lots of sex, that came out well after Sex and the City. And one of them was Lipstick Jungle, and one of them was Cashmere Mafia. And I don't think Cashmere Mafia was not renewed for a second season, so it didn't last very long.
So, but was it less homophobic than Sex and the City? Or biphobic, at least?
And that bar is set very low, Reed. So I'm going to just hazard a guess, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Lucy Liu's sheer presence makes it less biphobic because she is a bi icon.
Yeah, like she's created bisexuals. But let's not forget that she was also apparently in 2014's I, Frankenstein.
Yeah, she's a good egg, Miranda.
She is. Look at her. Incredible. But yeah, she is really great in it. Like you feel for her, but you're also like, hey, you could believe your kids. Just a little. You listen.
The script, the dialogue makes it really easy to side with the kids. So even if you are, not of teenage age, you really are in their shoes because, yes, like you said, you're like, okay, come on, Sue.
But I remember what it was like-ish, to make mistakes and be dumb and need some support. And I think the worst part is that later on we'll see it, but the scene where like the mom is just like, I can't look at my children right now or one of my children right now because of everything's happening. And that because it's also horrible because you're going to have that happen to you where you realize that your parents are people, mm-hmm. and that means they're also screwed up.
Yeah, it wasn't even it's later in the movie, not Mia, the main character, is her own daughter reaches out to take her hand and she flinches away because she can't deal with it.
Yeah,
and it's incredibly powerful. So with this first part of the movie, so we've got Mia who's she's feeling sad. She's a bit broken because yes, her mum died seemingly by suicide 2 years prior. Uh-huh. And she's got a bad relationship with her father. He's just distant because he's sad and she tries to hide her sadness from him. So she's enmeshed in this other family. The a motif for the end of the movie comes up, the thing we've talked about with the kangaroo, where she's picked up Riley and is driving him home, and they come across a kangaroo that has been hit by a car or a truck and is clearly in pain. If it was an American movie, this would be a deer, but in Australia, it's a kangaroo.
Yeah.
And it's clearly in pain. It's going to die, but it's suffering, and Mia cannot bring herself to put the animal out of its misery, and decides to drive on, leaving it to continue suffering, which is kind of heartbreaking. And yes, as we discussed, that puppet, too real. The Dirty Little Horror rule is Uncanny Valley CGI or obviously fake puppet. It cannot be too real.
I would also
or I get very sad.
Or I'd add, we're kind of seeing like an edge of the animal and then other people's reactions, and enough sound work to be like, oh, there's a dead animal here. Like, we don't see parts of it. We don't need to see the whole animal in entirety.
This was, as morbid as this is to describe, an exquisitely crafted dying kangaroo.
Oh,
the special effects team should be so proud of themselves, but also stop it.
And I would say the Foley work is very good, because I know that kangaroos have a different sound to them, because when you're a kid, zoo books and stuff, you're fascinated by the animals that are nowhere near you.
Yeah.
So kangaroos, of course, are going to be one of those. And it's fun to learn that something that's like, if you see Skippy the Bush Kangaroo on public access television, like I did, you think, oh, they're cute. And then you find out that they will fully kick your ass.
You had Skippy?
We had Skippy the Bush Kangaroo.
Skippy.
He was the Lassie.
The Bush Kangaroo. A Lassie.
Or right. Flipper. There's Lassie, Flipper, and Skippy, the holy trinity of helpful animals that save children who get into stupid situations. So fortunately, that's the only animal endangerment. Nobody has any other animal that can get hurt. Cookie is a perfect lima bean of a creature. And the only danger she's in is the danger that human beings did by breeding her to have breathing problems.
Yes.
But she is a sausage of a dog. And I don't mean like a wiener dog. I mean she is a fat
She's an English bulldog, so therefore has no extremities. Is just a beanbag.
Yeah.
That can't breathe.
Absolutely. And it's spectacular.
But she's gorgeous. And look, there was one time where she gets picked up during a moment of tension, and I'm like, that dog better not be in any fucking danger, or I will walk out of this movie. No, Cookie's fine.
We don't hear a whimper. She doesn't even bark at the ghosts.
Cookie is merely there to be made fun of for her bad breath and how much she stinks, and then to be described later in the movie as a thought.
Yes.
That was my backup quote for the beginning of this episode was, all right, just get your thought dog out of here.
And we mean that in the THOT.
Yeah.
As in that hoe over there.
That. So to close out this first section, the pertinent part is that Mia volunteers. So also it's worth noting that Mia is seen as a bit of an outcast. She's enmeshed in this family of Riley, Jade, and their mother Sue, but it is seen by the rest of the school community as a bit of an outcast. Quite blatantly, Haley, who is one of the ringleaders of this "we have the hand" thing, says to Jade, "Why'd you have to bring her? She annoys the shit out of me."
And Haley is a right asshole.
Haley is a massive asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And
we don't ever get pronouns for Haley.
They
do say that? Okay.
So they are an asshole.
There's part of me that's like, it's a diverse cast of people. So that was so my first reaction would have been, oh, well, she's, a woman of color. So we have to, couch how is she actually being, seen by how she really is behaving. But she does do a lot of staying over that family's house and putting up with, honestly, I think some of what Haley doesn't like about her is that she puts up with Haley's bullshit. If she would push back, which I also hate. I hate when people do that because I'm like, why should I have to stop being myself in order to get you to respect me? How about you just not be a dick?
That also rings entirely true, though, that Haley would find Mia annoying because Mia is a bit sad, and rightly so, and wants to be liked, clearly wants to be liked. That's enough for a teenager to be like, yeah, I hate him.
Well, I think Mia you can see it where she is a sad sack, but I don't think that's the one thing at least for me, the movie didn't convince me to feel like, God, Mia, get out of it. I'm like, I think she has very legitimate reasons for feeling the way she does. I mean, I will say it is a little sad that she's like, her friend is dating her ex-boyfriend, and she's like, we can all be fine. Yeah. And it's like, but you're obviously not, but you really want to get along with everybody.
I think this is the thing. The fact that she's a sad sack isn't her entire personality. It is exacerbated slightly that she is a little bit of a limpet. She is a little bit of a hanger-on. Mm-hmm. And another thing that Haley says describes her as being far too clingy, which, I mean, I don't not identify with that, but that is one of her traits as well. She is very looks to others for a sense of self. Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm like, what about the younger brother's best friend who's literally always there, being almost a stereotypical that gross kid who reads a Playboy, but from an 80s Spielberg movie. Like they plucked him out of an 80s Spielberg movie and plopped him in this movie. And he's like, oh, try smoking or something. And it's like, you expect him to be the one that has like the Playboys and he's played like Corey Feldman or something.
Yeah, but that character plucked from a Spielberg movie but fed through a Quentin Tarantino filter first, because that kid is disgusting. That kid is a little fuck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that kid is like a human rat.
That kid is not an adorable rat bag child. That kid is a rat bag child.
Yeah.
And kudos to the actor for playing him with such grotesquerie.
Yeah, that kid has never washed that hoodie. That hoodie could probably stand up on its own if you just laid it on the ground. It would just stand up in a human shape.
Also, just a note that this movie is the directorial debut of Danny and Michael Philippou. This is their first movie. Their big thing before this was they had a relatively popular YouTube channel where they did horror shorts. Just throwing it out there. Debut. Fucking debut.
I will say, I think the internet, for as horrible and terrible of an idea as it was, there's a lot of good that came out of it, specifically because people got the chance to practice and get feedback.
Yeah.
A lot of writers have come out of fan fiction. A lot of artists, I mean, coming from my perspective, a lot of us, posted really bad artwork online and got feedback. It is very helpful to not have to make art in a vacuum before you finally make professional art. And I think that if only our governments had regulated some shit and maybe we had executed a few people in vitro before they had a chance to create social media, not naming names, maybe we'd all be in a better place.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's some value.
Look, there's a potential for a future generation of audiobook readers to have gotten their start by whimsically calling out the author of the book they want to read on TikTok. So, anything is possible.
Yeah, exactly. Anything can happen. And I'm so glad that you have that childish dream.
Yep.
You're like Feifel looking out a window singing Somewhere Out There.
Somewhere out there. I've got to stop singing songs not in key in this episode. Jesus.
Hey.
I'm not going to get cast in any musicals anytime soon with this audition tape. Bloody hell.
Well, speaking of not getting cast in auditions, should I go on to the next reader read?
Please. Let's do it.
At this point, I think I've just given up on transitions. The group plays again at Jade's house the next night, where young Riley volunteers. He is possessed by Rhea's spirit, who speaks to Mia. Mia stops the group from blowing out the candle, and the time limit is exceeded. Riley's body is overtaken by the spirits, and he brutally smashes his face and nearly takes out his own eye. He is hospitalized while the rest of the group is traumatized. Mia, now haunted by visions of a ghostly Rhea, is turned away by Jade and her mother, Sue, who blame her for Riley's injuries. Seeking comfort from Jade's boyfriend, Daniel, whom she used to date and still has feelings for, Mia assaults him after she is possessed. She uses the embalmed hand to contact Rhea, who tells her that her death was accidental and Mia needs to help Riley. Riley is still possessed, attacking Jade at the hospital and violently self-harming. The friends track down Cole, who reveal that the spirits will weaken the longer they stay inside of Riley's body, so they just need to wait it out. Though Mia fears that the spirits will kill Riley before that, because if one dies while being possessed by the ghosts, they have your soul forever. Mia deduces that they need to complete the ritual by blowing out the candle, which they failed to do so the first time. They contact the spirit of a little girl, who shows Mia a vision of Riley being tortured by the spirits. Max reads Rhea's suicide note to Mia, Max being Rhea's father.
Mm-hmm.
Max, Rhea's father, reads Rhea's suicide note to Mia and apologizes for having hidden it from her. But Rhea's ghost tells Mia that Max is lying before she is attacked by an evil spirit in the form of her father. Then, whilst trying to struggle and her father breaking into her room, Mia inadvertently stabs her actual father in the neck with a pair of scissors. So this is the next point where I would break, because we have this whole ghosts start whispering in Mia's ear, and then especially mother.
Yeah.
And we've heard from the beginning the ghosts lie. The ghosts want to have a chance to be inside of a human body again.
And the longer they stay there, the more they want to stay there, which is why they put on a 90-second time limit. The rule set up that if you die while the ghost is in you, they have your soul forever. All that stuff is set up. Mm-hmm. And then Mia, because the ghost that inhabits Riley, when he finally convinces his sister wants no part of it, but because he's so young, but he's finally allowed to do it, and they even agree to only do it for 50 seconds, not even 90 seconds. But the ghost that inhabits Riley appears to be Mia's mother, Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mia, it's funny, it says in your reader just then that Jade and Sue blame Mia for Riley's injuries, which they do. Sue, the mother, thinks it's that she gave him drugs.
Mm-hmm.
She's wrong, but she's not wrong that it was definitely Mia's fault, because Mia literally clasped her hand over Riley's hand and the severed embalmed hand to keep the connection going, mm-hmm. because she wanted to talk to her mother for longer.
Well, and what's weird is that Sue isn't correct, but she's not necessarily wrong, because we also have a huge montage where the whole reason why these kids are doing this is because having the possession pushes you out of your body, and it is a literal drug-like out-of-body experience because something else is running your body and you are standing next to yourself. And for them, it's not scary; it is a high. And in the the way that a lot of different drugs can make you feel like you're floating away or help you just kind of disconnect from the anxiety that's happening inside of your body. I could totally understand where if something benevolent was taking over for a minute, it would be nice to dissociate on purpose. And I could see where they want to do that, but we have an entire montage where they take turns doing it over and over again, and they start acting like they're high. And so it's not entirely inaccurate, but it is inaccurate, but it isn't. And there's always going to be a little bit of like, well, is Sue doing this because, she assumes that Mia's a teenager and a bad influence and only her kids are good, but not this other kid, even though she's been like family to her.
Yeah.
Like, how much is this? Her prejudice is popping up. There's a lot to unpack that never gets unpacked, but there's hints at it.
I always assume, I just in the one viewing of it, every time Sue gets upset with Mia, all I see is just a mother lashing out because she is so upset at, and because she does it to her own daughter as well, about her, not just one of her children, but her baby boy, being so, and he is so brutally injured. He is so terribly hurt.
It's literally brutal. Like, the special effects budget was put into this, and I literally had to look away because it's a practical effect. It has to be. But that eyeball thing, his face.
Whoa. Yeah, actually, you're right. His face in the hospital afterwards when he's got all the swelling and bruising.
So
but no, you're right. In the moment when it's happening, oh my God.
I mean, it's visceral. It really looks like he is pushing that eyelid away with his own fingertips. Like, it is not good.
also, now that I've just realized, because I spent the whole time they were doing that, taking turns, letting the spirit embody them to get essentially a high. It's a montage of a bunch of teens getting high. You said, they should dissociate. I'm such a huge fan of dissociation that I'm now looking back at that more fondly, because I was like, you wouldn't catch me doing that shit. You wouldn't catch me holding on the hand and saying, I let you in. No way. And now that you've equated it with dissociating, I'm like, yeah, maybe I would. What if you could upgrade dissociating to actual discorporating? Yeah, maybe I could do that for a bit. That'd be nice.
Right? Like just float away.
Just for 90 seconds.
Yeah. Just 90 seconds. Not a big deal.
Just a quick 90 seconds. It's fine.
We're fine. Don't worry about us.
So yes, he hurts himself very bad, ends up in hospital. The reader read glosses over how Mia assaults Daniel, Jade's boyfriend. It is a brilliant scene. It is a brilliant scene. It has one of those slow background scares. So Mia, they are sleeping top to tail in bed at night. They're not doing anything sus, but Mia looks over in the corner. The shadow in the corner turns out to be a spirit that crawls across the floor up onto the bed and grabs Daniel's foot and then just starts going to town on his foot, and just sucking away on those tootsies.
And Mia jumps out of the way, freaking out, trying to wake him up.
Yes. And then when Daniel wakes up, it's actually Mia who was sucking on his foot, and she was like dreaming.
Well, because the thing possessed her, just like with the hand.
Her.
So she dissociated, but physically,
I see what you're saying. Yes.
She saw herself as beside the bed, because that's what it's like when they take over your body.
She was outside her body.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh my God. I didn't even make that connection. I just thought that was she was just dreaming it funny. But you're right. The physicality of it is accurate to what is happening when you get possessed. But the reveal of it was actually her doing it, God, it's good. And because it's so also the sexual politics of it is so complicated within the story with her best friend and her ex-boyfriend, and it's a mess. I love it.
Well, and considering they even have a scene, because when the spirits start talking through them, sometimes they say really hurtful things. Yes. And the boyfriend who has been the boyfriend of both those girls that are also best friends, when he gets possessed, the ghost, very Deadite style, turns to his current girlfriend, Jade, and is just like, he doesn't like it when you touch him. You literally like make him down.
Soft.
You make him soft. Yeah. And he's supposed to be like super Christian boy.
Yeah. Which is weird then when he throws himself to the ground and starts masturbating against the carpet and making out with the dog.
Mm-hmm. That is very funny because he falls down to the floor and the dog just comes over. It's like, oh, are we doing this? And she just starts licking it, and he's like fully making out with that dog.
Out. Yeah.
Like, good on that actor. And he comes out, his face is just gooey. It's like Men in Black. He is just covered in goo.
Yep. Not great, is it?
No. It's so interesting how these kids are playing with something so obviously dangerous to us, but they're having so much fun that they really think they're fine. But it doesn't feel like it's like, hey kids, hey fellow kids, let's not do a drug now.
No, it's not. It's not. Even though, yes, the hand is literally treated in the movie like a bong, but it's not being mapped like a very special episode of anything. It's just
it doesn't feel like a Saved by the Bell. Jeffrey Spano
not at all
taking caffeine pills. It just feels like these kids really don't quite get how fucking dangerous how much danger they are in until something happens to literally the youngest kid there, who is also an angel. That little boy but he's not an annoying angel. He's a good kid.
He's a good kid.
He's growing up. He's very young. He's kind of like, his best friend's kind of a dick. And literally, like, even his mom's like, he's doing his homework on the dining table, and she's like, "Get your shit off the table." And then while he's packing up, she's like, "Come on, do it." I'm like, I get that you like worked a late shift and shit, but like, you're gonna feel real bad when he's in the hospital.
But also, I mean, who among us hasn't? And actually, I realize I'm saying it to the one person who may not have because of the homeschooling, but gotten into a car with a friend who just got their license at the age of 17, and they've driven in a way that, no, the teenagers, you don't understand how much danger you're in at any given time. You throw all sorts of caution into all sorts of wind.
No, I can say I have brothers. And
okay, great.
I have a brother who's a little less than 2 years younger than me, and a maniac behind the wheel. To the point where he, like, over the course of our teenage years, totaled 2 cars.
Yes, there is a 1-car trip I took. It was only across town, and it was a very small town that I still, to this day, have not told a single soul about, bar the people who were in the car, because of how close we came to death twice. Anyway, so Riley's in hospital, and every time he comes to, like, he's unconscious. Every time he comes to, he keeps trying to kill himself and hurt himself even more. And it is, again, more brutal, more horrific. And then they go after Cole from the very beginning of the movie, who I didn't realize wasn't dead.
Yeah, I assumed he was.
Yeah. And it's funny that he says, don't worry, the spirits will weaken the longer they stay inside his body, so just wait it out. That feels like sound advice, and not a single person believes him. I don't know in the movie if this is meant to be a true piece of advice that they'll ignore, but especially Mia immediately is like, nah, that's not going to work. Like, I feel like, I mean, I didn't want the movie to end at that point if they just decided, okay, Karl, we'll do that. The end. But, you know, he gives solid advice that they just ignore.
Well, the interesting thing about this is that we start out with the hand, and there are definitive rules that we are told to by Haley and Dross. But they also admit that this hand keeps just kind of getting passed along. So it, like, fucks some people up, but not enough that it's so bad, and they trade it and they move it around. And so even the rules, while we're following them, feel more like rules that were kind of like, somebody's about to give you some LSD, and then they take it away, and they're like, all right, but if this happens, like, don't do this, all right? But also just, you know, let me know. These are really wild mushrooms, so just don't go crazy. Here you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, Duckett, from the kid who died at the beginning of the movie, Cole's brother, literally gave the hand to Joss because he said, I don't need it anymore. I see all the spirits without the hand. Which is like giving the mushrooms to someone and then going, oh, before I give it to you, just so you know, it will just get worse once you take these. Anyway, here you go, enjoy. I don't need these mushrooms because I'm high all the time.
Yeah. And it is very interesting because we kind of start the movie where we end it, in a way.
Yeah.
So it has a nice symmetry to it. But it has this almost like, one, I wish the adults around them could, like, understand what was going on, and instead of just denying them the hand, try to understand it. Because these kids, basically, you get this idea that the rules happen through trial and error. Because I was thinking, I was like, how do they know 90 seconds? And I'm like, oh, it's because some people got fucked up. And you can see that happening because it's been passed along. So nobody really knows where it came from. And it has this, like, you know, well, my cousin's brother's friend told me if you take it for too long and don't blow the candle out, they'll follow you. Except these are real things, not Bloody Mary, you know?
Yeah, things where you die. The whole thing about the parents not wanting to engage with it or understand it in any way, just cut them off from it, it also rings 100% true when you're a teenager. It's frustrating, but I feel like it's very accurate. And then we get into the stuff with Mia's mum, Rhea, and I think at first I was confused, and in hindsight, upon reflection, I really appreciate this about the movie because we are told from the get-go that the ghosts lie. We don't know. I mean, I don't, unless I missed something. Having left the cinema, I still don't know how much of the truth Rhea was telling and how much she wasn't.
Well, and I guess for me, I do think it was Rhea, but I think being dead makes you kind of a sociopath.
Yes, but even in the details about her death, I'm not sure how much truth she's... Anyway, she says, Max, her dad, says, I'm so sorry I kept this from you for 2 years, but here is the suicide note that your mum wrote before she died. And it was about begging for forgiveness, wanting to be forgiven for doing such a horrible thing and hoping that she lives a happy life, blah, 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 blah. As the note is finished being read, Rhea kind of appears or speaks to Mia and says, he's lying. I never wrote that. Because she has been claiming all along that the death was accidental. She accidentally took too many sleeping pills, which is why there were scratch marks on the door, like she was trying to get help as she was dying. And every time Rhea appears to Mia, it's preceded by faint scratching sounds. Whatever she is, there's scratching from the other side of the door.
The sense I got was those were lies. I think those were like self-lies. I do think she changed her mind it was one of those things where it was not too late. It was that she was too weak to get out of the way of the door when there was still time to help her.
Right. Yes.
And her husband was asleep on the couch, but then he heard the scratching, but her body was blocking the door. They even say it. So I think she planned it. She made a plan. She followed through with it. And then partway through realized this is not what I want.
Yeah.
But the train was already off the tracks at that point, kind of deal. And I think not to be like everything has a metaphor, but you could map a reading onto this, that this is a metaphor for suicidal ideation and how it lies to you and how depression lies to you.
Yes.
And it will tell you what you need to hear in order to destroy yourself. To the point where you literally can have people who care about you and you perceive them as something other than what they're saying. They could say, I care about you, and you're perceiving it as, well, they really don't mean that.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a very very astute observation that I had not made, but I think you might be right. And even if it wasn't intended, even if it wasn't intended, you're right. It can be mapped in that way perfectly. And again, still don't know whether that she wrote the note or not. Mm-hmm. And I think it's okay to not know, for the reasons that the ghosts lie and everything that you just said. And then we get to the point where suddenly Max is violently banging on the door trying to get to Mia, and that's when Rhea says they can that's not your dad. That's one of the spirits impersonating your dad. It was a possession. It was almost like a possession, and so the real Max hears Mia struggling and bursts into the room as Mia is being attacked by Ghost Dad, not Bill Cosby from that 1983 movie. A ghost version of her dad. And real dad takes the place of ghost dad just in time for Mia to get that pair of scissors and jab him right in his neck. It
feels very Oculus, where it tricks you into doing something, but then you really are doing something, but it's not what you think you're doing. You think it's an apple, but it's actually a light bulb kind of thing.
100%.
It feels like that. I feel like the movie is pretty clear that he is reading a real note, because I think that whole having the fake dad come in shows whose side the ghosts are on and whose side the father is on. So I have a tendency to believe that, again, the note is real. My perspective is that the mother was going through a lot, was dealing with a lot, and just had one of those moments where she didn't think she could do it anymore, took too many sleeping pills. I don't think she accidentally took too many sleeping pills, but I think once she realized she really wasn't quite ready, and then the sleeping pills took over and she was not able to get the help she needed, and then her ghost can't come to terms with the complexity of what happened.
Yes.
But also I think the ghosts want people to join them. So my other question to you was, because of the way we don't really have a as clear cut, like each corpse has a theme as we do like in 13 Ghosts or something, but the ghosts that we see, like, do you think they all of the ghosts that we've seen killed themselves?
Oh,
I mean, we have the child, but that's not, any, not to be morbid, and I apologize to everyone. We're going into some, this is one of the themes in the movie, I think. I just was wondering, are we doing a What Dreams May Come, where the people that stay behind are the ones who haven't really come to terms with the fact that they brought themselves to that point? Or because of having lived with depression, it followed them into death?
I'm thinking about this, and I am going to say no. And I will tell you why. I think you're half right, because the ghost you missed, the first one, was a very, very old man. We had the little girl. I think everyone who died, all the ghosts are people who have not come to terms with the fact that they have died for whatever reason.
That would make sense. So you could get a lot of that mix.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And I think,
so some of them will be people who died by suicide and have regrets over it. But I think some tragic accidents, some old age, there was clearly someone who drowned and someone who'd been burned. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then. Because I was just getting that vibe of, well, I think I was worried that the film was going to try to be like, see, they're all so selfish. Because there is that perspective from some people that it is an inherently selfish act to take your life. And I'm like, there's a lot to debate there and unpack there, y'all. And that's not fully fair.
Yeah.
Because I think it's incredibly selfish to expect somebody to just continue on without giving them help.
Yes.
And then blaming them if their disease gets them. Like that's, I think that's incredibly unfair. And I was worried that the movie might be trying to do that because I don't think Rhea, Mia's mother, is doing stuff because she cares about her daughter. In fact, she's not this. I think this movie definitely sees parents as human beings that are just older.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all adults are. We're just older.
Yes.
And there's varying degrees of maturity and a lot of pretending.
And a lot of, and way more cluelessness than we are told. Or than we assume, rather.
Or even what we're willing to admit on ourselves.
Yeah.
So I was just curious of what you thought the movie might be trying to do there. Because I don't think it's like demons putting on people masks. Like the way I read it, I do think it's those spirits. They were people once. I just think they're very angry and selfish, but they want, to live again, maybe, or at least get some attention.
I think they're incredibly lonely. I think we are shown that at the very end, without jumping too far ahead.
And death must be so disorienting.
Yes, because it happens at the end. I think I got an idea of what the spirits are and what they're going through and what they're trying to do, why they want to be led into a body, and why they either want to stay there or bring someone back with them in the denouement of the movie, which we could probably move on to.
I think we could, but first, we've had a lot of nonsense, we've had a lot of film talking, but let's just give ourselves a little break. So let's get into this last little part. It's actually fairly quick because it does all really kind of wrap up pretty quickly, and a lot of things are revealed like really fast.
Yes.
And you know what? I think I have to give credit. This movie doesn't do the whole, hey, we're going to show you all the stuff that you've seen before, but from another angle.
It doesn't, because there are several points in this last third of the movie, or I guess last fifth of the movie, where I go, oh, that's why such and such and such and such. Oh, that's why we saw blah. And it does it without re-showing it to you. You are so right.
I think that's a mark of good filmmaking. It's just, it gave us credit to be able to remember the film we just watched. And part of that is because they were like, look, we gave you a 90-minute movie. You have enough attention for that, right?
Yeah.
And we're like,
they gave a visual cue to remind you, but they didn't just repeat the footage.
I don't even know if they did like a voiceover, it's like, oh, you have to blow the candle out.
No, they did she saw a bloodstained kangaroo hopping from the hospital.
Which is like, that's new footage. All I ask is new footage.
Yep.
All right, here we go. After being told by Rhea that Riley needs to die in order to be set free, Mia tricks Jade and Sue into leaving and enters Riley's hospital room, where he takes the appearance of a rotting spirit. She finds herself unable to kill him. Jade finds a bleeding Max at Mia's house and returns to the hospital just as Mia leaves with Riley in a wheelchair. The spirits attempt to convince Mia to push Riley into oncoming traffic. Mia instead throws herself in front of traffic, causing a car crash. An injured Mia regains consciousness, wandering the hospital. She sees a fully healed Riley with Jade and Sue. As she attempts to reach Max, who has survived his injury, she instead finds herself on the other side of the embalmed hand as partygoers play the game, realizing that she has died and become a spirit herself.
Okay, so I always say that if I can pick the ending, it's a bad ending. What I'm going to say, without taking away from how good this movie was and how well it ended, I don't know about you, but once Mia wakes up, at no point did I think she was actually awake.
Well, and
I was like, she's dead.
Well, and I don't think it was really trying to trick us because, we do some time jumps. And like it's very
that is
obvious
true.
that like because she's on the street and then all of a sudden she's in the hospital in the same pose, and I'm like, by film like vocabulary, she's jumping through time, and then all the lights turn off, and I'm like, come on, you guys.
Yeah, once we see a healed Riley and the lights and snapping off, I guess, yes, you're right. They're not trying to trick us at all.
I think what they're trying to do is just be like, hey, you got to watch.
She hasn't figured it out.
She hasn't figured it out. She definitely doesn't know what's happening, but we do.
Yes.
And you knew it was going to be coming up, and it was kind of, but I didn't feel like it was cliched. I felt it was like full circle and in a horrific way of like, it just never is going to end, is it?
Mm-hmm. And the beauty of again in this new footage kind of way, where you get to see what the spirits see when the kids play with the hand, and the reason, again, I guess just said it before, there's a reason why they're so desperate to get into a body, stay in a body, or bring someone back with them, is because, as you can see from Mia's perspective, until someone lights the candle, they are in pitch black.
Yeah, they're in a void.
Complete void. And then suddenly a candle gets lit, like there's a little tiny source of light in the distance. They walk towards it. There's a hand outstretched, which to the spirit is it's a human hand, outstretched, waiting, and they get to hold the hand. And someone saying, talk to me.
Yeah, and who doesn't, like, if you're dead, of course you want to talk.
Yes.
But of course, what else would you want to talk about except gross, horrible ways you died, because that's what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if that happens enough, or you're there long enough, that I think the other thing we're hinting at is that Mia's going to become just as bad as the other ghosts. And I don't think it's because it makes you evil. I think you just kind of go a little crazy.
Yeah, and you become an exacerbated, less inhibited, less human version of what you were when you were alive. And what she was incredibly lonely.
Mm-hmm. And so, of course, she's going to want to join with somebody.
Yeah. And so I think if you were to extrapolate what you had said about the confusion. Oh my goodness!
Oh, it's official.
It's the episode siren, and it's me. Oh wow!
I'm so happy for you.
I really am back, aren't I?
You are.
To extrapolate what you were saying about the confusion with Rhea and the note, and ghosts lying with regard to Rhea's suicide, and the fact that suicidal ideation and depression lies to you, extrapolating that into the way the movie ends and what it's saying, and even its fucking title, I would say there might be just this tiniest hint of a message there about talking while you still can. Because, you know, Mia, despite being needy, is very buttoned down about how she feels and won't talk to her dad. And, you know, her dad's the dad. The dad should be making more of an effort. But she's not really talking about how she feels to anybody. And then the end of the movie, she can't.
And the problem is that it's not just because she's holding it all inside. There's lots of hints in this movie where other people want her to just be okay.
And won't listen. Yeah, correct.
They don't want her to spill her guts about how she's feeling.
Correct.
You know? Like, they don't want her to open up about how difficult things are for her. And that's part of that depression that people don't understand. It's like this not wanting to be a burden. And part of that is not a lie. Because sometimes people make you feel like a burden when you burden them with your feelings.
Yes. Do you all have Are You OK Day over here? Is that just an Australian thing?
Doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, so this is an initiative that started, I think, in Australia, at least, if not on social media. But it's called letter R, letter U, letters OK. Are You OK Day? And it's one day where it's encouraged for you to reach out to your friends and say, are you okay? And it became such a trite, cliched nonsense because, as someone much cleverer than me pointed out, the problem is not that there aren't enough people saying, are you okay? Because that has the exact same level of depth to it as, how you going? Or, hi, how are you? Fine. Like, it means nothing. What we're missing from conversation is, I am not okay. And then the other person having the wherewithal to be able to respond, to be able to listen, to be able to engage. I find the day like kind of gross because it's become a thing that gets printed on a cookie.
Mm-hmm.
So if you work in an office on Are You OK Day, someone comes in with Are You OK fondant on cookies, and then everyone makes the joke, Are you okay? Like, and if you're not, there's no scope, there's no space, there is nothing added to it, there's no depth to it to allow people who may not be okay to say so. And the people in Mia's life, you are absolutely correct, make several hints, some direct, some indirect, and not to victim blame, but I think Mia could make more of an effort, but whatever. No one in the movie in Mia's immediate life wants to hear properly how she's feeling. And she's clearly not okay. And so I super don't love trying to interpret metaphors or extra meaning in movies that may not necessarily be there. I know that it doesn't need to be the intent of the movie makers for a metaphor to exist. That's why I was so glad I did not have to do the Mad God episode last week. Because I the more I think about it, even to the title of the movie, Talk to Me, there is something to be said there about the importance of having someone to talk to or actually talking to someone, something that the spirits do not have.
And they're isolated. I mean, I think what I'm trying to get at was that this is a reading, and I like the idea of having more than one reading for a film. I don't like the idea of being like, this is what this needs. Because
that's what I hate. You're right. That's what I hate.
Well, because like the John Lynch.
You can do it, buddy.
What is his first name?
David.
I was like, which one is it? James, John, Jim? David. Oh.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Lynch.
Yes. So David Lynch. I like this story where people are like, can you explain your movie? He's like, no. And I've heard other artists where it's like, if I could explain the movie, I wouldn't need the movie because the movie is there to explain a thing I can't explain.
Yeah.
So
Tori Amos said that about her songs, that she, a song she writes means a particular thing to her, and once it's on an album, it's no longer hers. I mean, she views them as quote unquote her children, but when other people say this song means this to me, she's like, you're correct. Yes, it is. That's what it means because that's what you heard from it.
Well, and so I like the exercise of taking a reading on something. I was trying to
cool.
So I was trying to tell my brain, I was like, all right, so could we do a queer reading on this? Could this be a metaphor for being in the closet and not being able to talk about it, and not feeling safe to come out to people, and that destroying you, and that sadness of never actually coming out?
Yeah, I mean, I think a more generic. It's the reading is anything like that of having something you need to get off your chest and not being able to, or just needing to reach out to someone and having even when people are physically close to you and emotionally close to you, because her best friend is Jade, still being unapproached, still feeling isolated, which clearly Mia does.
And I think, we could look at this movie literally and be like, hey, all of these kids need better friends and need to be better friends. Because Jade's not a great friend.
Yeah, no, that's right. Jade's a shit of a person, but Jade is also kind of suffering as well because her boyfriend won't touch her, and her mum may or may not like her best friend as a proxy daughter more than herself. Riley's best friend is an asshole. And
Jade is a teenage femme, and that's a horrible thing to have to grow up through because it's a mess of societal expectations and difficulties. You could see where all of these people are going through their own things, because even Haley they're probably going through a lot, and they use bullying and being an absolute asshole as a way of pushing people away. And people are dimensional, and that's the thing. These ghosts are also dimensional, or they were. And so this could also just be everyone in this film needs not just therapy, but needs to be able to talk to each other honestly and not be afraid, including the ghosts. And so, Haley needs to be able to talk to somebody and be a real person around them. Joss needs it. The mother needs it. Everybody here needs help with their mental health, and so do the ghosts.
So to apply another layer of reading, to bring it back to the Are You OK Day thing, which again also exists as a self-serving thing. If you are a person with a little to no interaction with someone with mental health issues or general life difficulty, you can, on Are You OK Day, hand someone one of those stupid fucking cookies and say, "Are you okay?" And then you can spend the rest of your day being like, "I've done my part. I'm a really good person." Because, on Are You OK Day, I reached out to my friends and they're all okay. So I'm cleansed. The thing about what the kids are doing with the hand, the fact that it's a 2-step process, when you say talk to me, they see the ghost. They don't have to start the timer either. Because I noticed towards the end of the film, you don't start the timer, the 90-second danger timer, until they've been let in. So you can talk to me. You see the ghost. You can talk to the ghost. You could communicate with them, and they can reach out in that moment. However, the teenager holding the hand then says, "Let me in," to use that interaction for their own selfish needs, which is the high.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Like, they literally could have had a conversation, because Mia does that with the little girl.
Yep.
And, doesn't invite the little girl inside.
And they choose instead to be selfish, use it for their own gain rather than actually having the conversation. This whole thing could have been avoided, and everybody could be a lot happier and have a lot more conversations if they just stuck to the talk to me part and then didn't do the, "Okay, now let me use you to make myself feel better."
Yeah. Because, you almost wonder, could things be better if we had a bunch more of these hands and people with empathy using them?
Yeah. Am I very profound?
Oh my God, I think you are.
I'm such a good person.
Oh my God. Let's put that on a cookie. Well,
I'm just like, I fucking hate when people apply metaphors that aren't there. And then I'm like, now here's a metaphor I've just discovered.
Uh-huh.
I like your description of it as a reading. That I'm going to use that from now on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally stealing this from other people. But, literally, you can do a queer reading. You can do a feminist reading. You can do a classism reading.
Yep.
There's a lot of different readings that you can apply to things, and that's a really good way to interact with art, I think. And it's probably good and healthy to try readings that you don't occur to you immediately and be like, all right, well, let me do an imagination, and how would I do a feminist reading on this?
Yeah.
And I think that's a healthy way to maybe start interacting with media. I do think I've gotten better at doing that, having done the show.
Yeah.
And so I always appreciate the opportunity to do that and to do it with other people. Do we think that that's a movie?
I think that's a movie.
I think that is a movie.
The only thing... I did mention that there were 2 major gripes I had, 2 big rules that were broken, and I didn't mention the second one. So we've already talked about it. Beware of the kangaroo. Too realistic. Not enough fakery. The other thing is, at several points in the movie, there are multiple sources of light in a room. I can see the lamps, and I can see that they are on, and yet the room is dark. Because they've color graded the film so that it's still dark. That annoys me so much. Turn the light. If you want to be dark, it can be dark. I don't mind. Turn the fucking lights off. That's all.
Yep.
But other than that, no qualms, no faults. This movie is so good. I'm so proud that it's an Australian movie. I'm so excited about it. I love that one of the other things that A24 is doing now, as well as making great horror films, is using their machine, now that they're quite an established juggernaut unto themselves, to pluck other smaller budget films that wouldn't necessarily get this level of exposure, and bring them into the fold so that we get to see other creative horror works.
Yeah, they're definitely doing a good job curating, because they definitely have a name to uphold nowadays, especially after that Oscar win. But yeah, I do really like that they're using their financial privilege to, get exposure to films that really deserve it.
So would icon Meryl Streep survive in this film universe, Reed?
I'm gonna have to say no, I don't think so.
Squaring off against Miranda Otto. Explain your math.
Because we know she can't do an Australian accent, so she just wouldn't even fit in this film. She can do a lot of things, but she cannot do an Australian accent. A dingo ate my baby. It's
No,
not.
she can't.
It's not.
I still remember to this day a red carpet. It would have been from the mid-90s by this point, and an Australian. I think it may have been Richard Wilkins, who I do not like, but someone in Australia who does entertainment reporting enough to get to the red carpet of an Oscars in the US, interviewing the stars as they walk past, and Meryl Streep was doing a walk past. Now, obviously, I love Meryl Streep, but she shouldn't necessarily be in everything, and B, this Australian reporter, as she walked past on the red carpet, was like, Meryl, since it's been several years, whatever, since you did A Cry in the Dark, can you still do your Australian accent? To which she replies, indeed I can.
Even if it's not dying, like everyone there would just be like, could you? And then she would just disappear from the film. And that's, in this universe, she just wouldn't exist anymore.
Yeah. It's funny. If you put Meryl Streep and AMC icon Nicole Kidman together, between the two of them, you have a perfect American accent and a perfect Australian accent.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
they're just not. They don't exist in the same person.
Absolutely, but if you could splice them together, it's like a lenticular image where, half of the prism you're seeing one of the pictures and half is the other. If you could do that with their accents, you would have two. Perfect.
Meryl and Nicole are you got peanut butter in my chocolate and you got chocolate in my peanut butter of accents.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Would Australian icon Kylie Minogue survive this movie?
Yes.
All right. Got to explain the math.
Okay. First of all, when push comes to shove, Ken lay that accent on thick and perfectly. She has full disclosure. When she's interviewed, especially when she's in the UK or elsewhere, her accent is as wobbly as Nicole's. It's a lot more English-based, and she does code switch a little. So when she's in the UK, she speaks a lot more UK, and when she's in Australia, she's a lot more Australian. But from her turn as Epony Ray in that one episode of Kath and Kim, and a movie she did in 2017 that I still have not seen, where she plays one half of a swinging couple in the 70s in Australia. It's called Swinging Safari. She can turn the accent back on like that. So judging by your metric of whether or not you could pull off the accent, she survives. Also, the thing you said about if only people with empathy used the hand, they'd be all right. I feel like Carly would have empathy.
Oh, no. See, I honestly, now that makes me think too, Meryl would still die because she'd have so much empathy. She'd just get sucked along with all the ghosts because she, gets taken over by every role, and she'd just be pulled along. So both ways she dies. So,
also Kylie is so tiny because she's like 5 foot nothing.
Charles isn't here. We can do that.
If she said, "I let you in," it'd be like trying to pour a bucket of water into a thimble. The ghost would just like bounce right out again because there's not enough room.
You know what? That I'm allowed to do is that Meryl actually is in this movie. She's the kangaroo.
Is that the shit you pull that Charles won't let you do?
Yeah, I've done it more than once now. No, he gets so angry whenever I pull up her acting ability. I was like, oh, yeah, obviously. I think it all started when we watched some Exorcist movie, and I was like, oh, yeah, she's the ceiling fan.
Yeah, I used Kylie's survival excuse too many times as being like, no, the setting would be a perfect place for her to do a music video. She'd want to shoot a music video there.
I don't know. I feel like
I was banned. I know I was banned from doing that, and you know what? Rightly so.
Yeah. And you brought up her height a lot.
Yeah, because she's tiny.
Yeah. But Charles,
have you seen her?
But Charles isn't here, so we can do what we want.
You can't fucking stop me.
So perfect. Everyone, you've gotten so many different reasons why they would and would not survive.
Yeah, we've overloaded, which is good because the next part, according to my my table of contents, is emails, reviews, and tweets, which I don't have access to.
Oh, me neither.
And because I'm just the guest host,
and I'm just here to be pretty, and I can barely pull that off. So there'll be more of those. There'll be any kind of feedback, any correspondence. Will be seen to possibly next week, possibly not. Do we have to do? Are we doing another one? I think we
am
might
I guest hosting 2 of these? Well, look, if I am, fuck it, great, awesome,
perfect.
I know how to plug all this shit in now, so it'll be fine. That's neither here nor there. This has been Dirty Little Horror. Until next week.
Try not to die, y'all.